Sunny ways, my friends. Sunny ways.
Your 16 seconds are up. I'm going to ask you again because nobody believes you when you say you don't know how much money your family has got from the wheat group. You've had a month to look into that. You knew you were going to testify here. Again, how much money total have your brother, mother, and spouse received from this organization? How much?
That information has been publicly shared. But I will highlight.
Well, then tell me what it is.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles sort of thing. Sorry?
The servicing costs on the debt that you're going to have to carry that you're adding to now, right?
Interest rates are at historic lows, Glenn.
Where's the funds?
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean? Oh, Justin, you're awake. You made it. Have a seat. Have a coffee. You need some. Wakey time.
Let's cut that Disney Plus subscription. So we cut it. It's only $13.99 a month that we're saving, but every little bit helps.
A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but...
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody. Yeah, that's all that's coming off. There's nothing else coming off, yeah. I'm not Justin Trudeau here. Knockout!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Welcome to Friday Night Fringe, our Friday night live stream show here on YouTube, on the Green Meanie channel that I'm not allowed to say on YouTube, and other platforms as well, other forms of social media. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's going to be a great show. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Wow, a lot of people in the room already. I'm wondering why. I don't know if it has anything to do with this earlier week's stream or people are just excited to talk a little bit about politics tonight, but let's fucking go. Get those LFGs in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start our streams off with the usual roll call. Let's get in there. Tell me where you're watching from. If it's your first time here, make sure to include that. And let's see if we can get somebody from every province in the country joining us. First off the bat, I got to give a shout out to my good friend, the Celtic Canuck, joining us in the chat tonight. Celtic has an amazing YouTube channel. She's recently transformed her content from long form content more into the kind of content you see on Unacceptable Fringe, on Mr. Sunshine Baby, more news related stuff. Go and check out the Celtic Canuck. Her opinions, her takes on things are very based, if people still use that word, but I find her channel absolutely amazing. Go check out the Celtic Canuck. Big props out to her for being here. She is an amazing YouTuber, and I do talk to her outside of YouTube and can tell you that, well, without people like that, I don't think we'd still be here. So go give some love to the Celtic Canuck, and let's get the roll call started tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there is a lot of people in here already. My goodness, the room is filling up quickly. I will try to get to everybody I can. Get those LFGs in the chats, ladies and gentlemen. If we can't get to everybody, I apologize, but we'll do what we can. I am Canadian, coming in, watching in from New Brunswick with an LFG. Welcome in. We got Osiris, coming in from Sudbury, Ontario. We got Draco coming in from Lethbridge, Alberta. We've got Reg coming in from Spruce Grove, Alberta. We've got Ram coming in from Grand Cache. Denny, who used to live in Perth, welcome into all of you. We've got Chris coming in from Ontario. We got David coming in, LFG from Springfield, Missouri. Good old USA. Welcome into the stream. Great to see you. We got Terry coming in from Abbotsford, BC. Sean Scotty saying the Celtic Canuck is great. She is great. Go show her some love. If you haven't subbed to her channel yet, give her some subs, guys. Help her grow that community. She has amazing, amazing content. I can't say enough good things about it. We got Trudeau's Economy coming in. Big D, welcome in. Good to see you. Welcome back to the stream. It's great to see you. Princess Thickness jumping in. How are you? Welcome back into the stream. I believe she's watching from Montreal. Tammy Robinson jumping in with Celtic Canuck. Adore you. You are awesome. That's amazing. What are we saying here? Don't gaslight us now. It's not happening. Don't worry. We're going to have a good stream. We're going to talk a little bit about treason tonight and everything else going on in the government. James, welcome in from Ontario. It's great to see. It's not that bad. Things are going to get better, guys. It's getting there. Let's go. We got Brett coming in from Calgary. Welcome into the stream. We got Tyler Hill jumping in. LFG, let's get ready for revolution. Let's be Lions. Couldn't agree more. We're going to talk about that tonight as well. Welcome in. We've got Garnet coming in from Saskatchewan. Welcome into the stream. We've got Angela coming in from Mortock, Nova Scotia. We've got Tommy coming in from LFG PEI. Welcome into the stream. We've got Tobias coming in from Calgary as well. Welcome into the stream. Great to see you. I have to keep skipping over these praising tweets of Celtic Canuck. Maybe I gave her too much love because now this is turning into Celtic Canuck stream. But hey, that's okay. I'm just joking. Great to see you guys in here. Mike TV Dub, of course, leaving that link down there. Welcome in. And again, thank you for that, Mike. Welcome into the stream. Princess Thickness is coming in from Montreal. Welcome in. We've got Denny coming in from Ottawa. We've got where are we going here? Where are we going? The chat's just flying past me. We've got Owen coming in from Redwater, Alberta. First time in the chat, but I do watch all your videos. Owen, thank you and welcome into the stream. It's great to have you in the chat tonight. Trudeau's Economy, of course, joining us from Calgary. We've got Ted coming in from Trenton, Ontario. Welcome into the stream. We got Reg with his LFG up in the chat. Welcome in. We've got Susan joining us from Port Alberni, BC. As always, thank you, Susan, for joining us. Welcome into the stream. We've got D. McPeppard coming in from Northumberland, Ontario. I hope I pronounced that right. Welcome into the stream. We've got Kenny coming in from Canada. Okay, good. That's awesome. Screen name me coming in from Ontario. Welcome into the stream as well. We've got Peter coming in from Forestburg. We've got Carson coming in from Slave Lake with an LFG. Welcome into the stream. We've got Sandy coming in from Merritt, BC. God, that is a gorgeous town. Welcome into the stream. We've got H. Hobbs, or M. Hobbs, sorry, coming in from Victoria. I've got Lifting the Veil of Illusion coming in from Vancouver Island. Welcome in. Great to see you guys. We've got Dennis coming in from New Brunswick. We've got Reggie coming in from QC, Quebec City. And we've got Andrea coming in from Calgary. We've got Zav coming in from Ontario. My goodness, guys. And Celtic, oh, stop it. Let's get... No, we're not going to stop it. We're having fun here. This is all about fun. You know what rhymes with Regina, right? Fun. So let's get on with the show. We got Blackface Son of Castro coming in from Windsor, Nova Scotia. As always, great to see you in the chat. Thank you for joining us tonight. We've got Mo from Bangladesh coming in. Michael, welcome into the stream. Great to see you. We've got Arnie's Mitcher, Ottawa, Ontario, and Toronto, Ontario here as well. Welcome in. It's great to see you. We've got what we got here? We got a lot of, we got praise for Celtic and praise for the channel. Guys, stop. Come on, you're making me blush. Let's keep it moving, shall we? Whitby, Ontario from DT. Welcome into the stream. Great to see you. We've got Garnet coming in with the LFGs from Saskatchewan as well. What else do we have here? Am I catching up? Am I getting caught up in the chat yet? We got James from Nova Scotia. We got Sean with the LFG from Brantford. Tammy, my comment already went by. I'm sorry, Tammy. The chat is just flowing here, and I'm trying to keep up with it as much as possible. Please don't take offense. I'm not leaving you out. We've got Kiki coming in from Quebec. Guys, my goodness. Skull coming in from Ontario. If you don't know Skull, it's an old Viking term, but welcome in. If I had a beer, I would Skull for sure. Let's go. Shabbat Shalom from Midland, Ontario. Alice, welcome into the stream. We got Chris coming in from YYC, which is Calgary, if you're not aware. Welcome into the stream. We've got Bob joining us tonight from Kingston, Ontario. We've got Dar from Drayton Valley. Welcome into the stream. Guys, this chat's just flowing. I'm sorry. I won't have time to cover everybody tonight. Look, we got almost 500 people in here. What a stream. My goodness, we're just getting started. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Make sure to engage in the chat. It helps us with the stream. It tells people on YouTube, hey, this show is worth watching. Come check it out. It helps every bit and helps us grow our small, no longer small, very large fringe majority here on YouTube. So welcome into everybody in the stream tonight. I want to talk a little bit, not too much, but I do have to address the elephant in the room. We have to talk about this week's stream. Now, I'm not going to talk about that. I pulled it and I had kind of an apology video, but it was more of an apology for myself. It wasn't really an apology for what I did. Now, I have to just be honest. I'm not getting into personal stuff anymore, guys. We're not going to go down that road. It's going to be business as usual here. We're going to move on with politics, but I do want to pass on some advice and something that I learned from what had happened. Now, I put out a video last week talking about getting mad and that we should be mad at the government, and I don't withdraw those comments. I do think we need to be mad. We need to question our MPs. We need to do our research on our MPs, and we do need to be a little forceful when it comes to getting the answers we deserve rather than the typical word salad that we get from our representatives today. Everyone is too afraid in politics to speak their mind. They're too afraid to tell us what's really on their mind or what they really represent because they're worried it's going to cost them votes. I want an MP representing my riding who's afraid, or not afraid, sorry, to speak their mind, who's not afraid to tell me what they actually believe, what their beliefs are, because the power of a vote, whether you believe it or not, has a lot to change when it comes to the history of the country. So I do think that we need to be mad. I do think we need to get answers. Now, again, some MPs that I keep in touch with, like Stephanie Kusi, for example, she is my MP, and I often, chat with her, ask some questions. I'm not afraid to ask those questions. And anytime I've tweeted her out, anytime I've said something, she's more than happy to acknowledge it. And she's spoken her mind whenever she's around me, and I appreciate that. And that's why I will continue to give that lovely, lovely woman my vote moving forward. Now, as for the stream, I have been dealing with some personal things on the side. I'm not going to get into those, but they are family related things. And I think they caught up with me. I have been doing YouTube 7 days a week for just over a year, which means every day it's either research, I'm filming content. I always like to have content for you guys on the weekend. I used to take a break. Originally, this channel started out with a Monday, Wednesday, Friday format. Then it went to 5 days a week. Then it went 7 days a week because the channel started to snowball. It started to grow, and there was pressure on my end to say, I don't want to leave people out. I don't want to chase people away thinking that we're lacking the content. And anytime something dropped, there was always this need to say, it's a news channel. I've got to get it out. Now, the problem with that is that it starts to strain on a family, not necessarily because I'm filming videos or doing things, but I took a break for 2 days. I took 2 days off this week and reevaluated where my life was going. And one thing I did in those 2 days, and this is the advice and the reason I'm talking about this, guys, I put this down for 2 days and I didn't touch it. And I didn't answer any calls unless they were emergencies. I didn't answer texts unless they were direct family texts. Boy, what a relief it was. That phone is my lifeline. I'm always checking book sales. I'm checking YouTube analytics. YouTube analytics tells me if I'm doing a good job, if I'm doing a bad job, if I need to change some things with a video, if I need to make sure it gets out there better for you guys. It's a full-time job watching those things. And sometimes you forget that you're so heavily invested in it that you're watching life kind of pass you by. And I didn't really realize till I took those couple of days off just how beneficial it is for your mind, for your attitude, for your perception to put down whatever you're watching this stream on and go outside and live a little and separate politics, the turmoil in the world, the negativity, all of it away from yourself and just enjoy what God's given you, enjoy the world, enjoy the little things you have. I got really angry on that stream I did this week because what was happening in politics when it comes to the treason, we're going to talk about that tonight. When it comes to McKinsey and other outlets, you start getting wrapped up in it. Alice, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. The right vote is responsibility to vote. Absolutely. Thank you so much. when I'm in this 24 hours a day, because it's not just the videos I film. I do the videos, like I said, I'm doing book stuff, I'm doing research. I've been trying to run this campaign to run in Calgary. And then when all of it's over at the end of the day, when my wife goes to bed with my kids, I'm up talking on Discord with other YouTube creators. I'm talking with friends about video ideas or what's happened in the news. Sometimes we throw each other under the bus and have a good laugh at each other's expense. And I love my friends for that. I'm telling you right now, I have some of the best friends that I've made in the last couple of years that hang out on that Discord. And I'm telling you, I wouldn't be able to get through a lot of my rough times without them. Mostly guys like Jasper Sunshine. And I know people always say, why do you support the guy? I'll tell you right now, he's been in my corner for a while, and he's a pretty solid dude. So show him some love if you haven't. And make sure you watch his videos because they're fantastic. And he's been a great help to not only my professional life, but my personal life. So it's always nice to know somebody's got your back, if that's what I'm kind of getting at. But regardless, I didn't like what I was turning into. Um, I'm angry. I'm still angry at the government. I'm still angry at what's going on. I think we should all be angry. As it was said earlier, let's all be lions. But I needed to be reminded by my friends that how you're projecting that anger says a lot about your character. It says a lot about who we are as Canadians. That when you look at things like the Freedom Convoy, they were angry too, but they went to Ottawa, they were peaceful, they got their message across, and it ended poorly, but it ended poorly because of the government. It showed the true tyrannical power of our government. Getting angry and cussing on a stream and saying negative things about other outlets, about other organizations, and being frustrated isn't an excuse to come online and ramble, and vent frustrations and try to stumble into the answers of what's going to fix things. That's not how we get things done in this country. That's not how we fix our problems. Again, we need to be mad, but we need to put that anger into a positive step to invoke change. And that video I put out saying I was taking a break, again, I apologized, but I more apologized to myself because I really didn't like what I'm turning into. And it was affecting my personal life. It was affecting my life on this platform. I know people were saying you're unhinged, you're off the rails. I had people messaging friends of mine asking, "Is this guy losing his mind?" It's not a good fit. I started out on this platform as a happy guy and write joke books for a living. This isn't me. So put the phones down, take a break, go outside, enjoy your life a little, even if it affects the views on YouTube, guys. I'd rather have 0 views on a video and know that everybody was outside, everybody was getting away from all this negativity, everybody was just detoxing for a little bit and enjoying the world that God gave us. Just for a minute. Don't forget to come back and watch my videos, but ixnay to everybody else, okay? Just make sure you check in on Unacceptable Fringe, but take a break otherwise, and enjoy, guys. Enjoy. So um, that being said, um, content is changing on the channel. What, do we really have almost 800 people in this stream right now? My God, you guys, give a thumbs up. Wow, I'm shocked. Thank you to everybody who's been in here, everybody who's coming in, who's watching the stream. Um, the content is changing a bit, but it's not changing. The content will still be the same. Look, as politics wind down for the summer, uh, there's not a lot to talk about when people go on vacation. So this week I do have some other videos that have already been recorded, videos that I wanted to talk about certain subjects that are kind of related to politics, but they're affected by woke ideologies, by what's happening in our society, kind of culture war stuff. So there is going to be some cool stuff coming out this week. And it's going to be mostly like a video a day kind of thing, unless something breaking happens where I need to get it out, where you guys need to be informed. Because I find that if tackled those subjects early, if I can pre-record some content, then it also gives me time for my family. I have that healthy balance, and we can all move forward and be happy. And I think covering a little bit besides just Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh is a good thing sometimes. I'm really excited for the videos that are coming your way this week. We've got some great stories. I've got some great stories about a bar in the United States that just declared hetero month in their bar. And it's absolutely an amazing story. Make sure to check back when that one drops. It's absolutely amazing. I've got a video talking about what happened to Rob Schneider in Saskatchewan this week. A lot of cool stuff coming up this week that I think is going to be great for this channel, great for this audience. And again, I'm trying to kind of give you guys a break when it comes to Trudeau as well, because we have a lot to talk about when it comes to JT and what's happened this week. Now, of course, right when I take a break, the Auditor General comes out and talks about McKinsey. Now, we already knew there was corruption in McKinsey. We already knew that bad things happened between contracts. We've seen it for months in all these committee meetings and committee hearings between Larry Brock, Garnet Jenis, Stephanie Kusi, a whole bunch of MPs that have been sitting in there grilling not only Dalian and all these other companies, but GC Strategies and now McKinsey, asking where are these billions of dollars since 6 months after Justin Trudeau took office that have gone out to contracts? And how was this money spent? Now, of course, the Auditor General drops a truth bomb that, hey, there's about $9 million that isn't accounted for. That $200 million was spent poorly, and it was given without any kind of competitive bid. It was favoritism. That's a huge misstep, a huge conflict of interest. In fact, so much, the Auditor General said it's fraud. So my last tweet before I took my break was, where are the friggin' arrests? Where, when are we putting people in jail? Now, of course, they always talk about, they talk about political immunity, I guess. Kind of like what you see with Trudeau when he announced that him and his wife were separating, and they announced that based on protecting her, because we all know they've been hiding money. We all know that she's getting money just like Trudeau does, just like his mother does. Um, it, you can't even say what if anymore. It's very obvious. It's out in the open. So we're not going to play that game here. They did it for her protection. So it's the same thing. There's immunity laws set up to protect certain levels, I guess, of government. But we need to amend this. And this is where I say that we need to get in touch with our MPs. We need to try to shift the way that politics works with our MPs, that when they come door knocking, people are telling me, I see it all the time in the comments, that people say, look, I've emailed my MPs, I've called my MPs, they don't answer me back. They don't want to answer me back. You should be threatening your vote when you're contacting them. You should be telling them, if you don't get back to me, I will not vote for your party. They may not care at the time. And we've seen it when I sat down with Callan to talk about what happened at Midfield Trailer Park, where he mentioned Sarah Hoffman and said, representatives of the NDP party were very interested in helping him through his ordeal when Naheed Nenshi was bulldozing that trailer park. But as soon as they got their seats, they took off. They ghosted him. They didn't care anymore. So what we need to start reminding our representatives of is that you can ghost me or you can go away, but you're only going to get your 4 years. Whenever that term goes up, I'm not voting for you again. And I will not. Even if you come to my door, if you lick my butt, if you tell me that everything's fantastic, that you're not going to do it again, it's like an abusive relationship. There has to come a point where you cut the tie and say, I can't be abused anymore. I'm not going to do this. This is the same reason why I constantly say, I like Pierre Poilievre. I like his platform. I like what he's trying to do. I like what he's promising. But I will not defend or prop up a politician. You shouldn't trust any government. Any. And I mean that with all sincerity. I'm not trying to say that, hey, I'm communist or a Marxist or I don't like government, but you shouldn't trust. The problem with government, the problem with any government, is they have too much power. And they abuse their power. They've demonstrated it for everyone to see. I've had friends who said, from 20 years ago, I miss the good old days where the government just took their cut and we weren't any of the wiser. It's been going on since the dawn of time. But it's like saying you trust a lawyer. It's like saying, you'd allow an alcoholic access to your liquor cabinet and think that they're not going to relapse. Like you're defending a politician. When you say, well, don't say nasty things about Pierre. I get it, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want Justin Trudeau for another 4 years. I get that. We don't want his replacement for 4 years. I get that too. But educating ourselves, knowing the truth, knowing what we're getting into, knowing what we're buying into, there's nothing wrong with that. If we're afraid to question the next government, what does that say about our credibility as voters? Oh my goodness, I've just seen 2 flying in here, 2 super chats. My God. Don't sweat it. If you take a break, we understand. We were just as frustrated. I also had to take a week off from politics because it consumed me. Love your merch, by the way. Good quality shirts. Hey, I appreciate that, Maxime. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Jeez, my goodness. And then Neil from the Hill coming on the $5 super chat. E5024, no confidence vote 2.0 running in 120 days. Please sign and confirm via email. Now, yes, I agree with that. And I'm all for those things. It's just, I hate being the negative guy. I don't want to be negative, but we did this at Christmas time. Do you guys remember? Anything come from it? It's 8:43, says Joe. 8:43 viewers, let's go. We're sitting at 9:30. Now keep in mind we're multi-streaming between different platforms. So we're sitting at 930 viewers. Let's see if we can get to 1,000, guys. Let's bump it up. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Let's break that 1,000 viewer barrier tonight. That would be awesome to do in this stream. I would love to see that happen. But let's talk a little bit more about where we were at with this defending politicians, because it moves into this treasonous bit. When you give too much to any politician, and I would be saying this in regards to my run for Calgary City Mayor, question me, question my policy. If I believe in the policy that I'm pushing, if I believe that what I'm doing is the best decision, I have the information, I have the facts that I believe I have to back up those claims. Now, you're never going to do anything that's going to please everybody, which means you should always be questioning. Even if you like the policies, you should be questioning the policies, mostly to get educated. If a politician is able to back up their claim and back up and explain why what they're doing is a good idea, then it just reinforces that you've made the right decision in giving them your vote. But if you ask a question and they give you word salad, well, that's when you should be saying, listen, I'm not CBC here. I'm not Global News. I want a real answer. My vote means something. People keep saying you can't vote your way out of this. I get why people have that opinion. I get why people have that attitude. I get that things are corrupt. We have interference. We're going to get into interference later in the stream. There's a lot of negativity going on in politics. Eyes on the prize. We got to keep cooler heads. We have to be mad, but we have to, again, figure out where we're putting that anger. If we're educated on all platforms, other YouTube channels have said you should have a membership to every party. Marty up north has a membership to the NDP party. He's been going to their rallies in Alberta for the leadership replacement, purposely to troll the vote. But he still has a membership to get educated on what the platforms are, not because he's interested, but because then we have control over our representatives. There's power in numbers. Get a membership for the Liberal Party. Get a membership for the Conservatives. It doesn't cost very much to do those. I think it's like $10 or something like that. And it gives you the ability to vote when it comes time for them to pick their candidates. It gives you the right to have a say. So if you don't like somebody who's running in a certain riding, you can actually vote against them and get somebody else in there that you think is a better fit. What we have to learn from the last 9 years of Justin Trudeau, and what we have to take into account, is that we all dropped our guard. We have to own responsibility for what we've created. Justin Trudeau got voted in, and I remember my niece at the time, well, I voted for him because I think he's hot. I don't think she feels that way today. I can tell you that. John, thank you for the $5 super chat. My goodness, you guys are being very generous tonight. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But we let an absolute fearmongerer, powermongerer, narcissist, blackface wearing jackass take control of our country. And then we let him use fear over 2 elections to essentially boost up his term and land him in office for 9 years. So when we have to be mad, when we have to push back, when we have to fight back against tyranny, the best way to do that is to be prepared, to be educated, to say, how do we stop this from happening ever again? How do we ensure this does not continue? That's when you should be going to people's offices like Pierre Poilievre's. Go to his rallies. Go to your local MP's office and tell them, if you screw the pooch, not only are you not going to get my vote, but I'm going to be at your office door banging it down. I'll want answers. I don't want word salad jargon. I don't want, hey, I'll talk to you when I'm door knocking and canvassing on the next election. I want an answer now. These are my tax dollars. I work hard for a living. You don't get to go piss away my money and my future, or my kids' future, my grandkids' future, whatever have you. Chuck with $6.99 super chat. Guys, geez, thank you. You guys are really, wow. I'm speechless. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's important that to ensure future generations to, I said it in my other kind of motivational video I put out after the Get Mad, was that we're in charge of building the foundation for our future generations. When you look at what's happened with Pierre Poilievre talking about building the homes, we're building the home of Canada, the House of Canada. Yeah, there. Jasper will know that one. Jasper Sunshine. You guys go watch House of Canada. He does great question period streams every time it's on. Go check him out. There's like 4,000 people in those streams at a time. Excellent, excellent stream. But we're building a House of Canada. We have the tools. We've been given the hammers, the nails, the drills, the saws. And unfortunately, the project manager that we're hiring right now is off on a coffee break for 9 years. So what we need to tell the next project manager who comes in is, if you do the same thing as this guy or even close, we're coming for you. And not from a violent aspect, but your pension is gone. Your cushy job is gone. Your future in this business is gone. And yes, politics is a business. I'm sorry, but it's turned into a business. I've said it before that when you look at politicians now, they might as well come out in NASCAR outfits with whoever they're backing sewn into their shirts. Their sponsors. Like that's what it's turned into. Maybe I was naive as a 18-year-old voter getting into the voting system, but back when I used to vote, back in the Stockwell Day, Preston Manning days, I always thought, okay, who's talking the best policy? Who's talking the best thing that's going to work for my life? And not realizing who is donating to these campaigns, who's backing these campaigns. Those are the things you have to watch as well. Who's giving these guys money? Because with any campaign, with any successful leadership campaign, with any change in government, the donors are going to come looking for help. The donors are giving money to those parties because they're looking for deals. They're looking for their payback, their kickbacks too. And that's what we've seen with companies like McKinsey. That's what we've seen with Dalian, GC Strategies. Trudeau gets into office and says, I'm going to give all this money to my friends. We're going to pad their pockets. I'm going to increase my wealth from $9 million to $100+ million over the time that I'm in here, because I'm going to lock everybody down. I'm going to make them scared. I'm going to abuse the common Canadian citizen. And this is where we've ended up. Now, what I'm demanding from my politicians are arrests. Political pardons or political immunity be damned. I want arrests. I want somebody to go to jail. I don't care if it's Dalian. I don't care if it's GC Strategies. I don't care if it's Randy Boissonnaud. Somebody's got to go to jail. Have you seen the things Randy's doing? He claims that. Have you guys seen the new emails? They said that there is a Randy at the company, but it's not that Randy. It's a different Randy. Melissa Lanceman had a viral video that went out this week saying, will the real Randy please stand up? I mean, they think we're stupid. They honestly think we're stupid. And we're allowing it. I'm not going to fault anybody who was pushed into a corner when it came to the last election because everybody was scared. A lot of people had woken up by the time last election came by. I'm going to quickly get in. I hate leaving these hanging, so pardon the interruption. Chris with $10 super chat, independent moving group, 15% off moving services for unacceptable fringe subscribers. Hey, there you go, guys. If you need moving help, make sure to chat or put in the chat, Chris, where those moving services are available. Happy to plug that. It's Randy off the Trailer Park Boys. Oh God, you got your cheeseburgers there, Randy. How many cheeseburgers you eating, you big fat bastard? Okay, so it's the problem with this is that it's no longer skimming off the top. It's no longer taking a little bit off the top where taxpayers don't notice. It's they're putting their shenanigans on full display and saying, "What are you going to do about it?" They think everybody's stupid. What everybody has to be mad about, where I keep saying people need to be mad, is the fact that these are your tax dollars. It's not like they were owed this money. I filed my taxes not too long ago, corporate wise, and I'll tell you, uh, I was actually getting money back this year as a corporation because Justin Trudeau censored the hell out of me, and then my company took a loss, an operating loss this year. And the government came back. I'm so glad I had an accountant because the government came back and said, "Yeah, you know what? We don't want to give you that money. We're gonna alter your taxes a little bit here. We want you to actually pay us a couple $1,000s." Now, luckily, I had an accountant who swooped in and said to the government, "Nah, nope. In fact, we're gonna go find more money that you can give them back." And that's exactly what they did. That's the problem with this government is they're looking to screw you any way they can. Look at what happened with CERB payments. You guys remember those? Those crazy things. $2 super chat from Neil on the Hill. 912 watching, 70 thumbs up. WTF. Is that it? Only 70 thumbs up, guys? Come on, get those thumbs up in the chat. We're multi-streaming and it's showing me over 1,000. We're at 1024 viewers. You guys, we broke 1,000. Let's see if we can get to 1,500. Hit those thumbs up. If we're only at 74 thumbs up, guys, come on. It doesn't cost you nothing. Hit the button. The government is going down for its numerous scandals and corruption. Enough is enough. Nobody's in jail yet. That's so we're going to get to that, Sonny. Thank you for the 13.99 super chat. You guys, my goodness. I'm so grateful anytime people are super chatting. I certainly don't ask for those, but wow, the love you guys are showing tonight is unbelievable. Karen coming in with 13.99 super chat. Thank you so much. No message from Karen, but I appreciate that. We are over. Let's see Derek do a little dance. I can't dance, Joe. I'm white. Okay. That doesn't happen. Hey, there's Master of Snatch. Welcome into the stream, buddy. 1,000 viewers. Yeah, we're just over 1,000 now. What a successful stream tonight, guys. Thank you for everybody who's either joining us just now or just coming in. But let's get back to the discussion. When it comes to our tax dollars, when it comes to the money that we pay out, when you look at CERB, I remember as a company, now I took CERB. I don't relish in the fact that I took CERB. I'm not proud of the fact that I took CERB. My wife works in oil and gas. Now, at the time, I used to do these three-dimensional shadow box frames for arcade games, video games, because I was a retro game collector. And I put them on display once, and somebody said, "Hey, where do you get those?" And I kind of got the idea of, well, I make them. My wife makes them with me. So we got the idea to sell them from home because it really didn't take much to put them together. And it was a good little side business for a while. We made a couple $1,000s, but I got over that threshold where I was just over the threshold to qualify for CERB when my wife lost her job in oil and gas during lockdown. Now, of course, you can't go out and apply for jobs because everybody says they want you to have the poke in order to get the job. Now, truth be told, we didn't take it, obviously, but it made things difficult. So, of course, I said to my wife at the time, I qualify for CERB because I have made the minimum amount of money through this small business that we're doing. I'll continue to sell those things. We'll take CERB until you find a job. It'll help keep the mortgage paid. It'll help keep things moving. And of course, the government came back and said, "You owe us $15,000. I didn't take $15,000 in CERB, but they tacked on fees. They tacked on service charges. They tacked on all this crap and said, "You owe us $15,000. And I said, "Well, wait a minute. I filed my taxes. I sent in receipts. I showed them my receipt book. I showed them my invoices. I showed them my receipts from shipping these orders. I showed everything legitimate. The money coming in from PayPal, the money coming in from different banking apps, showing it was all legitimate. It was all covered. It was all looked after. Now, again, I didn't have the money to get an account at the time, but they said, well, how do we know this isn't a hobby? It doesn't matter if it's a hobby. It's income. Your stipulations, and I forget if it was you had to make over $5,000, whatever their stipulations were, I was just over that for that year, and said, I made the minimum that was required, and they agreed to that. They said, yes, you did. And then I said, and I've got a business, and when you guys started COVID, the place where I got my frames from shut down. So I couldn't order any more than the stock I currently had. So I went out of business. I couldn't sell anymore. So your COVID lockdowns affected my business. It shut me out. So I took CERB. And the government says, yeah, well, we're going to count this as a hobby. You owe us $15,000. Now, luckily, the next year, I put out How the Prime Minister Stole Freedom. I hired an accountant, and my accountant went back and got it all cleared up and fixed. But that's the government. They just want your money. This is why we have a carbon tax. This is why we have all these things. Now, I don't like getting into personal stuff here on the channel, but it's important to share that story because I'm not the only one they've done that to. They just want all this money back so they can line their pockets, so they can jet set around the world and have $100,000 meal tickets throughout short flights with a bunch of people drinking booze on Justin Trudeau's airplane. They want to go on lavish Jamaican trips for $13,000. They want to go to the Queen's funeral and stay in $5,000 a night hotel rooms. They want to bleed you dry. They want you to be a battery farm. This is why I was saying when I put my phone down this week for a few days and stepped away from YouTube, that was the best 48 hours of my life. And I'll tell you one thing, my wife, my kids, they all noticed a massive difference and said, you're actually happy for once. You're not angry. You're not wound up. You seem relaxed. And it was because I don't have notifications. I don't have YouTube bugging me. I don't have to hear about, guess what Justin Trudeau did. Now, unfortunately, what Justin Trudeau did happened at the biggest moment when, again, we get into the treason end of things. Well, Carson, holy shit. Carson, $100 super chat. I promised $100 for 1,000 views. Here you go. My goodness. I didn't see that in the chat, but thank you so much. Oh my God. That is the biggest super chat I've ever had on the channel. Thank you. My goodness, Carson. That's insane. Wow. I'm literally dumbfounded. I'm going to donate that to my local food bank. So thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I'm going to put that to something good. Thank you. Really appreciate it. We're at 1130 viewers right now, folks. Let's keep that climbing. Get thumbs up in the stream if you haven't already. I don't know what we're at in the thumbs up now because I'm on a different program running the stream. But we were told last time it was 74 thumbs up for 1,000 viewers. Guys, get the thumbs up in there. Wish I could donate that with love. Hey, no problem. Listen, pay it forward, right? We got to look after our Canadians. I'm happy to do it. So that will be going. That is the largest super chat I've ever had on the channel. I'll be putting that to the food bank. Again, I appreciate it, guys. I know YouTube takes their cut. I know what it is. Listen, all the super chats tonight, I think I'm going to put towards that. It's very much appreciated, guys, but I'll do something good with it. Anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about the treason because that's on the thumbnail and people said don't gaslight us tonight. I'm not going to gaslight anybody. You know who is gaslighting? Tammy Robinson with a $6.99 super chat. You deserve the following and you are such an honest guy. Please never stop being you. You guys don't stop being you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Again, this channel wouldn't be anywhere without its community. So I'm just the guy talking on the soapbox. Thank you to everybody. Thank you for all your generosity. I really appreciate it. I love the food bank idea. That's why you're so respected. I appreciate that. Sometimes you don't feel like you're very respected when you go out. I'll tell you, sometimes I go to my kid's school and I'm wearing my unacceptable fringe stuff. I actually get yelled at sometimes. and told that I'm a disrespectful Canadian. We get it all the time, guys. Anytime I see somebody with an F Trudeau sticker on their truck or something, people sometimes yell at them. We're getting a lot more left-leaning people moving into Calgary, and I see it. I hate it, but I appreciate that. Thank you. Did you guys get the water situation figured out in Calgary? We're going to get to that after we talk about the treasonous acts here, because the treason is insane. You know what else is insane was John delayed the talk. $10 for the food bank. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate that, John. Thank you so much. The treason. Let's get into that. Let's just get into it. If any more super chats come in, I'll acknowledge them after. So don't think I'm ignoring you. We got to talk about the treason. So it comes out this week about interference. We know with Han Dong, we know with everything that's happened in politics that the spying that's gone on in Canada has been unreal. It's been at the highest levels it ever has. Now, that being said, we have seen spying going on in this country for quite some time. We know that interference has been an issue for quite some time. And I'm not talking about Russia like the Americans. I'm talking about actual Chinese political interference. This has been going on for decades, but nothing on the scale like we're seeing today. When you talk about the WEF, you talk about all their agendas, you talk about their plans, you talk about the future of what Canada could look like under the Great Reset. Political interference plays a major, major part in what's going on in our country. If you guys remember Pierre Poilievre coming out not too long ago with that phone book-sized document about the lab leak, that, well, I can't really talk about what the lab leak was, but we all know what was referenced in that. We've all caught up on that news. But of course, they talk about interference in that aspect. They talk about people getting access to our secrets, our information, our virology studies, our labs. That puts Canadians at risk. We've seen Han Dong and his delegates come in, and he, remember when he cried when he resigned saying, I didn't do anything wrong. Okay. We know that Olivia Chow was installed in Toronto under Chinese corruption. Busloads of people being shoved into the polls at the 11th hour to make sure that she got installed in Toronto City Hall so that she could, waste millions of dollars renaming Dundas Street and letting the homeless run rampant throughout the city with crime. I had a family member reach out to me and ask me about the crime because they said they live in Winnipeg. They're sick of hearing about meth. And I said, you have to understand, this is part of the government's plan. It's controlled chaos. They want controlled chaos. Colin P, $20 super chat. Your thumbnails are hilarious. I love your channel. I appreciate that. I've had people tell me my thumbnails suck, so thank you. I actually get comments that say those thumbnails are terrible, so I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll keep doing the meme thumbnails. I like doing the meme ones. I like putting little jokes in them. I think it's fun. But let's get back to the corruption. Han Dong cried when on his way out and said, I didn't do these things. We all know he did. Pierre Poilievre explodes everything with the lab leaks. Now lists are coming out that we're not allowed to see that label a very number of compromised MPs who are not only participating in the foreign interference when it comes to our elections, but they're actually allowing harassment and targeting of other MPs that, well, don't check all the boxes, that don't meet Trudeau's standards, I guess, when it comes to wokeness, when it comes to, stealing from taxpayers and cutting down Canadian citizens. It's unacceptable. Pun intended. How many thumbs up do we have, guys? Can somebody give me a thumbs up update in the channel here? One of my mods. Knock, knock. Who's there? It's China. China. But it's like, I chuckle about it now, but it's just because I'm trying to keep a cool head about it, because it's really 725 likes out of 1,100 viewers. We can do better, guys. Get those thumbs up in there. Get those thumbs up. Come on, you bastard. Get those thumbs up in there. We got... we need arrests. I've got a video coming out this weekend talking about everything and talking about my take on things, the news that I have dug up on these things. But you can see Chrystia Freeland is now being hard pressed by the media. You know it's bad when the media jumps on it, when the government-funded prostitutes start reporting on things that normally would only hit Twitter, would only hit YouTubers like this channel, where we're cranking out the real information. They can't ignore it any longer. I can't ignore 1776 super chat. Petitions do work. 30 days, we got 480K, 120 days on E50. Yeah, I'm not saying they don't work. I'm saying that we saw the vote at Christmas and they had their vote, and of course the NDP shot it down. It's still good to be loud. I'm not disagreeing. Yes, sign the petition. Thank you for the super chat. We need arrests. We need to see the lists. Chrystia Freeland is nervous because she can't even lie to the mainstream media anymore. This is similar to what I said on this disaster stream this week, that if you've ever watched National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation, or if you've ever seen those movies where a bunch of holes end up in the boat, and Chevy Chase in Vegas Vacation, he stuck his finger on a hole, then another finger on a hole because another one sprung a leak, and then a piece of bubble gum, and like before you know it, he ran out of digits, he ran out of gum, and he just left because the water just kept coming in. It's the same on a sinking boat. The Liberals have buckets and the water is just coming in, and they're bailing and bailing and bailing, and they can't get the water out. That ship is going down. And please don't hold it against me, but in that video, I do make the claim that it's over. It is over. Now, we know that their term is coming to an end whenever an election happens. Now, my money is on 2025, the standard election date, whenever that may be, because it keeps getting pushed. But we know that it's over. We know that it is over for those guys. But what is important to note right now, that if the mainstream media is covering this and they're pushing, like they are really pushing the Liberals, saying, why aren't we getting the lists? Why aren't we being told who's compromised? Why aren't we moving forward with this? Why aren't there arrests? The media is finally asking that. Now, I'm not giving credit to the media. The media see the ship going down and they're like rats on a sinking ship. They're trying to get out and paddle because their time is up as soon as Pierre gets in and defunds the CBC, amongst other outlets. But it's too little too late for media outlets. But it's good to see them pressing, because this isn't something that's going to go away. I hope everybody understands that this isn't the Aga Khan. This isn't the We Charity scandal. This isn't even Trudeau's lavish spending or blackface. This is major. This compromises our elections. This compromises our complete democracy. Pierre Poilievre was calling for arrests. They're not going to get it, because these little worms are going to do whatever they can to get away from that, to try and convince me, you, everybody else that, oh, we didn't know. It wasn't us. I didn't do it. Remember Han Dong? Oh, I'm crying. I'm leaving. I didn't do anything wrong. Sure, he's enjoying his pension, right? We need accountability. And this is where I was saying in that disaster stream that when these guys come to your door, when they're saying, hi, I'm here to petition. Did you guys see that viral video of the lady on Mother's Day who had the Indian canvasser come to the door in Saskatchewan from the NDP? And she said, do you think we should be keeping secrets from parents at the school? And he said, yes. And then she said, are you out of your mind? Get off my property. That's the way we need to start treating. I know those canvassers are volunteers. Don't be mean to volunteers, but we need to be vocal enough to make it clear to them, you're not to come on my property. I don't want to talk to you about your woke policies. You're not getting my vote. You don't deserve any vote. Jagmeet Singh and his hypocrisy. He talks about, oh, I can't believe what's happening with this election interference. Then why won't you call an election? We know why. He needs his pension. He's not going to get his pension. I think that 8 months ago, a year ago, if Jagmeet Singh would have turned pace on Trudeau and say, called an election then and said, look, I can't prop you up any further. I can't do this coalition. You're wacko. I think he could have maybe salvaged some form of his reputation, maybe even kept his seat. But I think the NDP wouldn't be essentially going down with the Liberals like they are now, especially in the polls. But now it's too little too late. That even if Jagmeet Singh turned back on Trudeau at this point and called an election, say in September, it wouldn't be enough to save him at this point. So he's not going to, because all he has left, all his only saving grace right now is his pension. And it's too bad that it's gotten to that point, because Jack Layton's rolling over in his grave. His ex-wife, widow, whatever you want to call her, is destroying Toronto, and his party, his legacy, has been completely demolished by a known Terry who can't even go into India. I don't think he's allowed in the United States either. I might be wrong on that one. Jagmeet will throw every other MP under the bus before February, after February. Yeah, I'm willing to bet. I like this comment more than anything. Share the live stream. Share the live. Yes, thank you. Guys, we're over 1,200 viewers right now. Unbelievable. We've broken an all-time record on the channel. This is the most we've ever had in our live streams. Thank you again to everybody joining us. If you're just coming in, welcome to the stream. But when it comes to this, we need arrests. Now, check out the video later this weekend. I do go into it a little bit further. I don't want to spoil the video, or else there's 1,200 people in here that aren't going to watch it. And guys, I got to get my YouTube going. So let's talk about what happened in Calgary, because I put out a video today talking about that, because it pertains to our next pandemic, our next lockdowns. Some people said I'm going out of my mind. Some people said, dude, get your tinfoil hat on a little tighter. Okay. If you don't know, if you didn't check out the video, there was a water main break in Calgary, up in the northwest pocket of Calgary, a community called Bowness. It's an average-sized suburban community in Calgary. It's right across from the old Canada Olympic Park, where they filmed Cool Runnings, where the ski jumps are. Older community. I think it was built in the 50s, if I'm right or wrong on that. So a water main has broke. People are getting brown water in their taps. The city, of course, Thursday night realized this water main had broke. They sent out one of those really annoying buzzing Amber Alerts on the cell phones at 5 o'clock in the morning the next day. The mayor didn't bother to say, guys, we can give it another 3 hours. We'll wait until like 8 o'clock at least. Nope, 5 a.m. Here's the big Amber Alert, because why? Well, when Jyoti Gondek first got into office in Calgary, you'll remember she immediately, her first action as mayor was to call a climate emergency. Climate emergency. Murray coming in one pipe. Keep that in mind. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Bowness used to be a small town outside of Calgary. Yes, it did. It got annexed. Again, I think that was in the 50s or 60s, somewhere around. I'm not up on Calgary history, so forgive me on that one. Gondek is WEF. Absolutely, Gondek is WEF. Her and Nenshi. Gondek drools every time Justin Trudeau comes to town. She licks his bum. She absolutely does whatever he says. She gets stars in her eyes. She loves Trudeau. She's a joke. Anyway, one pipe bursts, so they put out an Amber Alert Thursday morning and say, hey, Calgary, don't have a shower, don't do your dishes, don't use any water. This water main break happened. We have to preserve our water. For one pipe, somewhere in Calgary. Now, it is Friday afternoon. It's more than 36 hours later, and they still haven't, at least up until the last time I checked around 2 o'clock this afternoon, hadn't found where the leak or the water main break was coming from. You're telling me in a city this size of 2 million people that one pipe shuts down the entire city? The south end of town gets their water from a reservoir, not the same place as Bowness. So why is the entire city being limited? I can tell you why. There has been rumor going around for months. Months. I think back as far as February. I saw it on Twitter all the time. I kept seeing it on YouTube comment sections, not my YouTube, but other YouTubes, saying Jyoti Gondek is going to call water restrictions this summer. She's going to lock us in our home. She's going to shut us down. It's confirmed. We already know about that. And then again, I'm not saying that the city, people were saying, I think people were saying get your tinfoil hats because they think that I'm implying they went and broke a water main in order to push their agenda. No, I'm saying there is a legitimate water main break in Calgary, but they used this as their opportunity to say, shut it all down. Everybody stay inside, everybody be miserable, everybody comply, so that all summer long, gas is through the roof, people are sweating to death. Oh, don't go outside and use your sprinkler. Don't go have a cold shower. Don't use your dishwashers. Don't anything else. I hate to break it to you guys. Restaurants are still open. I went to my local reserve because it's just down the road. I have a membership for a car wash on there because I go shopping at a Costco over there. And I went and washed my car today. The car wash was open. So I'm not going to feel guilty for washing my car if they're allowed to be open. But I look at it and go, if restaurants are open, restaurants are washing their dishes, restaurants are serving water, is it really as bad as they're saying? Does it not remind you of something when we were locked in our homes, but we were all allowed to go to Walmart? We were all allowed to go to Costco. We were all allowed to go, to Superstore, Loblaws, any of Loblaws, IGA. They're essential. So this is where, right here, don't believe the scare tactics. I don't. Now, I understand why there's boil water advisories. I understand the whole deal with water main breaks. I'm not discounting those things. What I'm questioning is the shutdown of the entire city. Calgary is one of the most vastly spread out North American cities in terms of landmass and space. And they've shut the whole town down over one pipe. And it's the same as I said in that video, that even if all the stars line, if everything matches up with their data, if there was a reason to shut it all down, do they not understand how it's hard to convince people now to listen to the government, to listen to elected officials and believe the nonsense they're spouting? This is, somebody said it in the comments earlier, boy who cried wolf. That's exactly what this is. Because now you've got a lot of people on platforms like Twitter saying, hey, I just took a nice shower. I just had a nice bath. Because I don't believe you. What happens when there's an actual emergency and they try to shut things down and people don't want to comply now? That's the destructive power of a lie. That is the destructive power of a corrupt government and what they have done. If anything, this should scare the shit out of governments and make them realize just how much damage they've done over things like the pandemic. That you've betrayed the trust of the people so much that even if you have a legitimate emergency now, people aren't going to believe you. And it could result in mass unalivings of people. It could result in people getting injured or hurt. It could result in people being without what they need. I'm not saying that there's a legitimate reason for what's going on in Calgary. If you're around Bowness, if you're around that area, absolutely, I feel terrible for those people having to. I hope they fix it quickly. But it's the same as I was saying with the drugs, with the catch and release, with the thefts of vehicles in Toronto. This is controlled chaos. They love this. Governments absolutely love this because it gives them everything they need to come forward and say, hey, we're going to look after you. It's okay. Just give us a little more power. We just need you to let us bend these rules just a little bit more. Give us that little extra power. We'll give it back. We promise. Right? We'll give it back. You can trust us. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Then they ruin your lives. That's how it works. So forgive me for taking a shower the other day, for telling my wife, I just don't give a damn. Because I don't believe them. I don't believe them. Now, that doesn't mean I'm outside running my hose. That doesn't mean that I'm doing a bunch of things that I'm doing just out of spite. But I'm not going to debate if I want to walk around my house smelling like crap because the mayor said so. That's not up for debate. That doesn't mean I stand in the shower for 45 minutes. But I'm going to go rinse off if I gotta, right? I got 3 kids under 10 years old. Do you know what it's like to have them smelling around the house? Hell no. It's not happening. Not when you're lying. Now, if somebody showed me legitimate proof and said, "Hey, you're affecting things by doing this, and this is fully documented by an actual expert, by somebody in the field. They've got visual proof in front of you." Okay, then I'll listen, and then I'll start following the rules. But when you see these alerts and you see guys like Naheed Nenshi chiming in on Twitter, guys, we all got to do our part. There was a tweet that I showed in that video that came right after that said, "You're not the mayor anymore. Sit this one out." They couldn't be more right. He thinks he still has control over Calgary. He's a jackass. He's got nothing. Christy, becoming a new member, welcome to the Fringe. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Welcome into the Fringe. Thank you for supporting the channel. Really appreciate that. Expert, just like the government. No, I'm talking about like an actual like utility worker who physically takes me down there, shows me the hole, and then says, "Here's how the system works," and here's 100% undeniable fact. That's what I need. I need actual receipts, actual evidence. I don't. When they say this is our expert, I say bullshit. He's probably somebody they got off the back of a cereal box. No, I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to take that for granted. Wanda 924. Okay, so again, we're multi-streaming. I've got 1109. My God, you guys, what a stream! What an amazing stream tonight. You can't just assume the hole's gender. Okay, I didn't mean to. That comment wins the internet today. Thank you. That is awesome. That is awesome. RA with a $2 super chat. I stand by what I said Friday. Love that you're back. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. It was a good break. It was a really good break. I feel so refreshed. I like it's 2 days, and I know for some people, like they get their weekends off of work or things like that, and they go, "That's 2 days." Those two, when you're working 7 days a week for over a year, that is the best 2 days I've ever had. Boy, do I feel energized. Thank you. Deneen Prill with becoming a member of the channel. Welcome to the Fringe. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. 946 likes, guys. That is incredible. Thank you. What a reception tonight. What worries me about the water ban in the city right now is where this transitions into other cities. Is this the launch pad for the blueprint for other cities to do these things? We know that Mayor Sohi in Edmonton is just as corrupt as Gondek and just as virtuous as Gondek. We've got other mayors or governments. You know, you see a radical like Stephen Guilbeault. You don't think at some point in time he's going to start saying, "Oh, Calgary got it right, guys. We need to push for a new bill that limits usage, that tells people," like, here's the problem with the government. Your job is not to tell me what to do with my life. Your job is not to tell me what I can and can't do. That's a dictatorship. Your job as government is to pass policy, to run the country, and to stay out of my life. You don't get to tell me where I can go, how long I can be there, what I have to put in my body, what I have to buy with my money, where I can live, where I can't go. You don't have those rights in a democracy, in a free country. And despite the way Justin Trudeau has treated this country, it is still a free country, whether he allows it to be free or not. This is where I say we need to call for arrests. People need to be in jail. We need answers. And when your conservative members or anybody that you're voting for, PPC, I don't care who you're voting for, when they come around knocking, you got to start asking them, why haven't I seen an arrest? If you want my vote, you better start demanding some justice, because that's my money they're wasting. That's my security they're putting at risk. You guys ever get those spam phone calls saying, "Oh, this is Rogers, your phone's up for renewal," and you're not even with Rogers? Or you owe money to the CRA, or any of those scam calls? That's because of interference and people selling your information online. Every time you vote, they're giving that information to the Chinese. You should be mad about that. You should be calling your MP saying, my information is out there. My tax dollars have been wasted. They've been sucked up like a Hoover. So some fat cat bureaucrat can sit on his ass with his fingers up his butt and enjoy the rest of his life and get rich while I'm going to work and giving half of my money to the government in taxes. I don't think so. That's where I'm saying we have to start demanding more from our representatives, even the ones we like. You have to let them know. Treat it like a job, treat it like a company where you're the boss. If an employee came in and said, I'm going to say you own a car dealership and an employee came in and said, I'm going to wash 100 cars a day, and they washed 10, and you brought them into your office and you said, what are you doing? You said you were going to wash 100 cars a day. And they say, well, yeah, but this happened and that happened. They give you a bunch of word salad. And they go, but trust me, I'll get 100 cars done tomorrow. And they don't get 100 cars done. So you give them a warning and say, I'm going to fire you if you don't get those 100 cars done. Now, the next day comes around, they get 80 cars done. They start doing good numbers. And then as soon as you show your approval, they go back to doing 10 cars a day. Are you going to keep them employed at your company? Are you going to keep paying them to do a job that they're not doing? That's the same thing we're doing with these politicians. Every time they come door knocking, we're going, oh, I'm believing everything they say. It sounds so good. And then they get elected and they don't give you nothing. We're in charge of them. That's what I keep saying about our vote. And everybody's saying, well, it doesn't matter. Whoever's in your riding, it does matter. You're responsible for their job. Neil from the Hill, Trudeau was arrested in 2020. I have proof. I have the link. Send that to unacceptablefringeyt@gmail.com. Send me that link in an email. I know you can't really post links in the chat. If that's true, I'll do a video on it. Unacceptable Fringe YT. So Unacceptable Fringe YouTube. Unacceptable Fringe YT@gmail.com. We have to fire these people that aren't doing their jobs. Vote for an independent. Vote for somebody. If I'm in Stephanie Cousie's riding, let's say Stephanie Cousie came around and I didn't like the job she was doing. And there was an independent guy who came to my door and said, I'm willing to run for this riding. And if I got a seat in the House of Commons, I know I'm just one independent guy or I'm one PPC guy, but I don't like what they're doing and I'm going to represent you better than they are. And I believed what he was saying or she was saying and said, you know what? I'm going to tell my neighbor about that. And then my neighbor tells another person. Before you know it, everybody in that riding is talking about this person. Stephanie Cousie's out of a job and this independent person gets in the House of Commons. Now, are they going to be able to get a lot of things done? Of course not. Of course not, but it sends a message. And if I were to sit back and watch them in the House of Commons over the next 4 years and saw them working hard, watched what they were pushing, watched what they were fighting for, watch what they're suggesting, how they do their job, then the next election, I'd still vote for them if they did what I expected of them. Just because you wear a label of conservative or liberal or NDP does not give you the right to have that position if you can't do the job. And that job is public servant. That job is a representative of the people that elect you. That's where we should be mad. I can put a big blue conservative C on my hat. Am I going to get a job from you guys in a couple months? Next year or whatever? You guys want to vote for me? Well, you guys would vote for me. I'm not gonna ask that question. But you get what I'm saying? This is why I keep telling people, I had a family member, again, the same one talking to me about the meth head, saying, I might vote conservative in the next election. I said, it's not my job to tell you how to vote. But do your research, get involved, ask about policy, research what they're saying they're going to push. And if they don't deliver, demand an answer from them. Don't stop bugging them until you get an answer. And if it's word salad, you let them know right there and then. I'm going to tell everybody in my neighborhood, I'm going to tell everybody that you represent not to vote for you in the next election because you're a liar. Because you took me for a fool. Enjoy your 4 years. Enjoy your cushy job. You're unemployed in the next election. That's what we need to start doing. We need to demand accountability. Even guys like Pierre Poilievre. We have to demand that accountability. We have to say, if you're not going to do the job we asked you to do, you're out. You're out. Even if we like the guy, you're out. I like Pierre Poilievre. I've talked with him. I've sat with the guy. I've shook his hand. I've taken pictures with him. We've talked back and forth like old high school buddies. I'd love to go and have a beer with the guy. But if he doesn't do the job that I appoint him for, if he doesn't follow through with what he's promising, or at least show me he's trying to push what he's promising, he's out. Even if I like him. Because I don't trust the government. And you shouldn't either. It's that simple. Trusting the government is the same as giving your 1-year-old a sharp knife and saying, I'm going to put a blindfold on and trust them not to stab me with it. It's probably going to happen, right? It's so careless on our parts. We have to be responsible. That's where I talk about our votes. I'm not talking about putting a check on a box. I'm talking about understanding the weight that vote carries. So there's power in numbers. Wait, Dance, what did we hit? Did we hit 1,000 likes? I'm not dancing. Guys, I'm white. I don't do that. I'm a short, oh God, I'm a short, fat white guy. I don't dance. Happy dance? 1,000 likes. Guys, you're the best. You're the best. Stop the lies? Am I lying? Is that what we're talking about? Or are we talking about the government? Thank you for the 279 super chat. What we're dealing with is much deeper and darker than what you think. Your sweet Canada's finished already. I understand, Megan. I get everybody's the Trump dance, like the whole I can't even do the Trump dance. Nobody does it better than Trump, believe me. It's I know we're in dark times. I know the country is compromised. I know we're screwed, but guys, and maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm naive to think that holding on to that power of a vote, holding on to that belief that we can change course on the ship that we're riding, that we can rise up. That is our revolution. That getting loud, getting in the streets. I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about being expressive, not apologizing. And when people speak out and say, oh, I really wish the nurses got more money from these unions and I wish the NDP would do things, you start saying, shut up. Go do some research. I mean, don't be rude and say shut up, but you start saying, go do some research. Go understand what you're voting for. You want to be woke, but at least know what you're voting for. Start telling people to get educated. Start telling people to understand who they're giving their votes to. Because I'll tell you right now, 90% of the people that are in the House of Commons do not deserve your vote. And I like some of them. I had a big awakening when I was invited out to Ottawa in 2022 to meet with members of the Conservative Party and be acknowledged for how the Prime Minister stole freedom. I talked about it in the disaster stream. I got to peek behind the curtain. Like Wizard of Oz, you got to see who was operating the machine, how the pizza's made. It's scary. It opens your eyes. It makes you realize that, much like it was said earlier, things are gone, things are compromised. The way it works, you see the way they behave, the way they talk, the way they view things. It's like seeing how the donuts are made. You start going, these guys are all messed up. Now, again, I like some of these guys. I have no problems with them as a person, but it really makes me scared as to where this country is headed. Nobody's perfect. And again, nobody can do everything that's going to make you happy. They're not going to please everybody. But when I met with Pierre Poilievre, I said, this is a guy that gets it. This is a guy who seems to generally care about Canadians. He comes from a nice family. He comes from a home that has good Canadian values. He's friendly. Yeah, he gives you the usual jargon, the usual tag words, the usual this and that. But you know what, guys? I've met Maxime Bernier. I've met Leslyn Lewis. I've met Melissa Lantsman. I've met Andrew Scheer. I've met Larry Brock. I've met Garnet Jenis. I've met Stephanie Cousy. I've met a bunch of them. And as much as I like people like Stephanie Cousy or Melissa Lantsman, I felt Pierre was very genuine. And I was very grateful to have met him in person and chat with him for a suitable amount of time to feel confident that I was giving him my vote. And that's why I would encourage everybody, go to his rallies, go to a rally if you can, and talk with him after. He waits until he sees everybody there. Certainly not $7 super chat. Stop the corruption and lies from our federal government. Absolutely. But we have to figure out how. We have to figure out how we're going to do that, how we're going to get there. That's a stream for another time. But demand more from your MPs. Demand more. Call their offices. Email. I know they don't answer, guys. We have to do things the legal way. We have to do things the Canadian way. We have to show that we're better than them. If we get angry verbally, if we get angry and wound up and we start yelling at people and this is the reason why I pulled that stream, because I took a look at it and I saw a monster on camera and said, I'm no better than those guys. We have to be better than that. I have to be better than that. That was the reason for the apology. You guys didn't deserve that. My family doesn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that side of anybody. It's nasty. It's vile. It's un-Canadian. And that's what I saw during the Freedom Convoy, was so many Canadian patriots, so many actual Canadians looking to fix things and make it the way it used to be. We have to keep that spirit alive. We have to keep that positivity that, yes, we can fight, but we can fight the right way. We can put our anger in the right directions. We can make change if we get together in numbers. Ask yourself this, honestly ask yourself this question. Before you say voting doesn't work, nothing's going to work, nothing's going to happen. When was the last time you actually committed to voting? When was the last time you actually said, I'm going to make sure I do my due diligence? How many people do you know that don't actually get off their ass and vote or go out and do what they're supposed to do as a citizen of this country? I guarantee you the number is strikingly high. If we don't elect our politicians, or at least partake in the process, we have no right to complain, because we're allowing the corruption. Even if it's done with shenanigans, even if there's tampering with votes, we can rest easy knowing we did our due diligence, knowing we did what was required of us as Canadian citizens, that we spoke our voice. And if we're not happy with the results, if we're not happy with the actions of those representatives, again, buy memberships and get in touch and say, I'm a member of this party. I don't like what you're doing. Get a Liberal membership and call these constituents, like call Stephen Guilbeault's office, call Justin Trudeau's office, call Chrystia Freeland's office. I'm a member of the Liberal Party. I don't like what the hell you're doing. Somebody will listen to you. We have to demand more. We need arrests. We need accountability. We need people to go to jail. I'm hoping it comes. I won't hold my breath, but I'm really, really hoping it comes. Phoebe saying the people are awake now and it's going to be hard to pull this crap again. Yeah. I hope so. I hope so. It's like I said at the beginning of the stream, it's like an abusive relationship. We've been abused for too long. Hopefully Pierre Poilievre is the person he's saying he's going to be. Hopefully everything goes nice. Certainly not 279 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the stream's hitting in that hour and a half mark, and I always like going out on a high note. So we're going to wrap it up there. Again, thank you to everybody for the record-breaking numbers tonight. Thank you to everybody who came in. Again, content this week, it's unless something breaking happens, it's single videos. I don't believe there's a video. It's either tomorrow or Sunday. There's no video, but there will be one video this weekend. And then again, throughout the week, probably one video a day, unless, again, something breaking happens. I will make sure to get it out on this channel. Check out the content, because again, it pertains to politics, but it's not directed at Justin Trudeau so much as other things affecting our political structure. And again, as politics gets a little quiet over the summer, if you guys enjoy this content, I think it'll be great in order to produce some good stories for you guys and some good things to follow over the summer while our MPs are all on break. So make sure to check out that video, leave a thumbs up on those videos, leave a comment. Thank you again to everybody in this amazing amazing community for not only coming in tonight, but coming back after that very short 2-day break. For your support, for your kind words. Thank you to everybody for the amazing super chats tonight. Again, I'll be putting that to a good place. So thank you for that. Thank you for your support. And I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Again, don't forget to put down your phones, put down your devices, go outside, touch grass. Okay, guys, get a break, breathe some of that air that we're destroying in the planet. Go for a 10-hour drive with no bathroom breaks and watch the planet burn. Whatever you have to do. Get out there and have some fun, and don't take life too serious. I know I'm not going to anymore. We're still going to be mad on this channel. We're still going to get the word out, but I think I've got to start letting some things go, and I think we as Canadians should, but keep people accountable. I think less stress is a good thing. So enjoy your weekend, guys. Kick back a little and take care of yourselves. I will, as always,